use that kind of scheme. So we'll see how this plays out here tonight. And Yao Ming, can he dominate it out on that low post?
The Houston Rockets took on the Portland Trail Blazers in round 1 and won 4-2. Last time they won a first-round series was back in 1997. Foster, Brothers, and DeRosa are 3 officials tonight. The Los Angeles Lakers beat Utah in the first round 4-1, shot 49% in that series. But Doug, they've been off for a week. Do you expect there might be any rust? I know you always say you would take rest over rust anytime.
Well, Phil Jackson said usually when you're off, the first thing to go is your shooting. And the Lakers have gotten off to great starts at home the first 2 games against the Utah Jazz. Let's see how they do here tonight.
Little 2-man game as they go inside to Yao, hit by Bynum. He was doubled by Ariza. The shot clock is down to 6. Kobe is on Brooks on the switch, and Yao goes over Bynum with the whistle inside. 2 seconds was remaining on the shot clock with 11:35 to play here in the first. And Andrew Bynum has picked up his first early foul for the Los Angeles Lakers.
Well, you could see on that possession, Ron Artest was the post passer, and he stood in the same position. So his man Ariza could really dig back in the lap of Yao Ming. What Yao Ming needs to do is move that basketball, go side to side, and catch the ball on the move. And he's a great free throw shooter, so anytime you foul him shooting a jump shot, it really plays into what they want to do. Now with the Rockets, Kevin, they're a team that averages about 94.5 points a game in the regular season. They want the game mid-90s and under. The Lakers want to push the tempo. So let's see if the Rockets are going to be able to control the pace of this game and keep it to where they want it.
Yao now in the playoffs is 25 of 27 from the free throw line. Unbelievable. A guy that size at 7'6", so good from the line. Bryant picked up by Shane Battier with 9 on the shot clock. He puts in his first shot.
Well, Shane Battier is going to try to take a lot of shots to get his points. Kobe Bryant feels very comfortable getting his shot, and what you'll see Shane Battier do, he doesn't try to block the shot. He tries to get his hand in the face of Kobe Bryant when he takes the shot to disrupt his rhythm and his vision.
Yao, they don't double over Bynum. And Yao Ming hits his first shot tonight. He's got 4.
He's got that little jump hook, and what I like what he's doing is he's catching the ball, kicking it back out, and then repositioning and getting the second post pass.
Bynum into Yao. His first shot is good.
Nice aggressive move. You know, he was talking the other day, he said that brace on his leg, his right knee, caused him a lot of soreness, and he's trying to get used to playing with that brace and trying to get the soreness out of his knee.
Yao over Bynum with the miss. Rebound by Gasol, his first for Los Angeles.
Game plan for Bynum, try to push Yao Ming off the post, make him a jump shooter.
Now Scola picks up Bryant. And back to Battier. Bynum out. Yao almost concedes the shot. Now picks up the rebound, his first. Brooks. Lightning quick guard. Screened by Yao on Bryant. Battier missing the 3. And picked up by Trevor Ariza.
Transition defense, very important for Houston.
Battier comes out on Ariza. And they had our test for the slightest of moments on Kobe on the wing. 9:54 to play in the first. The shot clock at 18.
In the last series, Portland would look to push the ball, but they really didn't look to take quick shots. And the Lakers, you know, do not play that much out of the triangle anymore. You know, Phil talked about 90 possessions, maybe 15 pure triangles. So they're much more of a fast-breaking, quick-hitting team than they used to be.
Battier right there with the coverage on Kobe. Kobe's first miss. And here comes Brooks the other way. Brooks has that speed that they tried to use on Portland. That's a foul. And Bynum knocks down Yao. That's number 2 on Bynum. That quickly means now that an adjustment being made as Lamar Odom will come off the Los Angeles Laker bench for coach Phil Jackson. Bynum with his second.
Andrew Bynum there just leans on Yao Ming and pushes him. He had done a nice job when he's that far off the post, Kevin. There's no need for him to pick up that foul. So let's see if this changed the schemes. Now Pau Gasol a little quicker, tries to circle him, knock the ball away from behind. And Phil Jackson said he actually does a pretty good job on him using his quickness and moving around.
Odom bumping into Scola. That's a quick foul. And Lamar Odom picks up his first personal foul.
Now the Rockets normally a very good free throw shooting team, so you do not want to get them early to the foul line. Kevin, we saw him the other day in that game 7, the fourth quarter of the Boston game, Chicago early fouls in that fourth period really saved the Celtics with all those free throws in the fourth period. So you do not want to put a team early into the penalty.
And Artest picked up by Ariza. Artest coming off a 27-point game in the clincher over Portland. He feeds inside to Scola, who found room around Pau Gasol. And Scola picks up his first two. The speed of Fisher right into Brooks at the other end. Tap. And the Lakers have the rebound right there.
Artest very much has the strength advantage on Ariza, so if he gets down that post, they might have to double and help him down there.
Here's Scola, Odom, and picked up by Kobe Bryant. So Scola has started 1 of 2. Kobe the other way, and he is 1 of 2. This is over Artest. 2-point shot, rebound by Yao, number 2 for him. Odom couldn't get up on Scola with the rebound pulled down by Gasol.
That's the shot that Scola was knocking down against Portland when they were double teaming and leaving him at that top of that circle and that elbow area. This is Pau Gasol missing the jumper, so that's what Phil Jackson had talked about. Worried a little bit about the shooting touch here early to start the game.
Brooks, good screen by Battier.
Here we go.
His shot, and Gasol claims yet another rebound, his third. Looks like he may have caught a finger in the eye. Lakers have missed 5 consecutive shots. Battier on Kobe. Finds it out inside, and Kobe Bryant has started 2 of 4. Bryant on Battier. No cross matchups in this game so far.
This is the matchup you got to be worried about. Artest with the strength on Ariza. Phil Jackson said he actually likes Odom better on Ariza, so let's see how long he stays with that matchup. Phil Jackson's going to take a timeout, and he might be talking about now changing some defensive matchups coming out of the break here. But the Houston Rockets have to be very happy about this start. Remember now in Game 1 against Portland, they got up to a great start, won that Game 1, and didn't have to win back in Portland, got the home court advantage and won it in 6. Like to sneak through in Game 1 like Orlando did tonight. Let's see if Houston can do the same. The Blazers, the pace of the game, we already talked about it. The Rockets won at 95 and under. The Lakers would like to get it up into the hundreds in that fourth quarter story. The game within the game. You heard Craig Sager talk about it as we see Derek Fisher knocked down that little open jump shot, but all 4 of these games have been close until Kobe Bryant has taken over the fourth quarter. The Lakers have picked up their level of the defense, and the Rockets have not adjusted well to that. Let's see tonight if the game is close, if that story will change.
Fisher with his first 2 at the other end. Gasol knocks it away. Here's Fisher in a turnover. That's the first. Gasol can't find the handle inside, and the Lakers turn it over, so the turnover's even. Got 1 apiece. Anything else that Phil Jackson told you the night before the game that you found interesting? The triangle thing I thought was kind of interesting, how little they run it. You talked about that before.
Well, they're more of a speed and quickness team now. They'll use it on occasion just to, get the ball to certain guys maybe on the floor, but they're for the most part now. They like to push the tempo and look for quicker shots.
Yao, who's taken over Gasol. Yao now 1 of 3. Kobe 2 of 4 into Battier. Then you saw the report by Craig Sager before the game with the sore throat, under the weather. Saul looking for the handle, can't get it. Yao reels it in. The second Los Angeles turnover.
The Rockets are a very good team defensive team. Artest, a good individual defender, more of a power defender. Shane, a very cerebral defender. Then Yao Ming, a good shot blocker. So they are a very good team defense.
Artest for 3. He knocks it in from outside. So he has started 2 of 2. He's got 5 to lead the Rockets. We now have a 3-point lead. Rockets with their biggest. Lakers have not led yet.
Ron Artest was very quiet in that Portland series until the definitive deciding game where he had 12 early points that first quarter, had 27 points, but was 3 of 11 from the three-point line. 11 threes too much. He needs to get more to that free throw line.
Lakers have started 4 of 10. Same with the Rockets. It's lost inside. A Houston turnover. That's their second. And Odom the other way into Scola. Rebound by Scola. There was a whistle inside. It goes on the Houston Rockets with 5:55 to play here in the first. And Luis Scola, in his second NBA season, picks up his first personal foul.
This is Pau Gasol, and on that play, you can see Scola reached in. He actually scratched him underneath his left eyelid. You see athletic trainer Gary Vitti working on that left eye. We saw a very similar situation the other night in Game 5 in Chicago when Paul Pierce got a nasal laceration, but his had to have about 7 or 8 stitches, and he missed about 6 or 7 minutes of that third period. I never thought that he ever got back into the rhythm of that game after that happened. That's the game that Chicago went on and won that incredible triple overtime game.
So here's Odom at the free throw line. In the regular year, he was a 62% free throw shooter. Came into camp. They told him he was going to come off the bench. Bynum was going to start. And then Bynum goes down. He becomes a starter again and flourishes. Now he's back off the bench.
And probably has benefited by fewer minutes. If you look out there on his legs, you see no braces, no sleeves. Last year, he was wrapped heavily. Here's that circling defense.
Ariza trying to catch up with it. Brooks meets him at the other end, as does Scola. He still gets it to go. So Trevor Ariza hits his first shot.
If you turn the ball over against the Lakers, they're going to score. They're one of the best in the league. They average almost 9 steals. Points off turnover, they average almost 19 a game. The Rockets cannot give him those kind of points. And Artest here off to a great start. Very good ball handler. Actually, he's a pretty good pick and roll player.
Artest has started 3 of 3. Game high 7. Ariza over Scola for 3. And Ariza's been hitting his three-point shots, especially in that Utah series.
Well, you can see Scola is playing Ariza and Artest playing Odom. So that's the matchup that both coaches like, Artest and Odom against one another. Ariza playing Artest in the low post. Not strong enough. They're going to have to help him down there.
That's Artest's first miss. Rebound by Lamar Odom. He's been a terrific rebounder so far in these playoffs. Here is Fisher, a 3, the close by Artest. He misses it all. Fisher was in a shooting slump, Doug, as the regular season was concluded. He is shooting 44% from the field through the first portion of these playoffs.
And against Utah, though, he was only 5 of 16, 31%. The good three-point shooters in that Utah series, interesting enough, were Odom, Ariza, and Shannon Brown.
Wow. Ariza's on Artest. Outside Scola. Battier, the close by Gasol. That is a missed 3 by Shane. The rebound by Derek Fisher, his first. Battier's on him. Al Brooks goes on him. Look at him claw his way inside. He's knocked away by Brooks. Loose. Odom tries to save it. Vacuumed in by Gasol. Kobe. Ariza. Into Yao. That is a foul. It is on Yao Ming. We've been showing you Bynum's 2 fouls. He is on the bench, the starting Lakers center. Yao picks up his first right there at the 4:03 mark of the first quarter.
Well, Yao Ming did the right thing, except the last minute he put his body into him. Really, had he just kept his hands up, he would have been okay in that position. But Ariza did a nice job. He sort of stepped around Yao Ming, and as you see him, he's got his hands on his knees there. A lot of times he gets tired, and those are the kind of fouls that he picks up. But watch this here. He's in pretty good position. And watch the last minute, he just sort of sticks that left shoulder out there. And that's the fouls that Yao Ming has to stay away from. And again, those are in many instances fatigue fouls where he just gets a little tired and he gets a half step behind.
He's playing a lot of minutes.
Well, he's going to have to play a lot of minutes in this series because he's that guy down in the low post that creates so much of their offense.
Artest, Yao trying to set a screen. Gasol and Ariza both pick up Artest, who's had the quick start. Fisher is defending Brooks, and the shot clock is down to 7. Now they double him with Odom. They're moving the ball well. This is what Rick Adelman told us before the game they had to do. Bryant is on Artest, and Yao tips it in inside. Yao is, are they going to give that to Art? Nope, give it to Yao. As Fisher goes inside, he throws it away. It is Scola, chased by Kobe, by him an easy 2 for Luis Scola.
That's something you do not see much from the Houston Rockets, getting a steal and getting out and cashing in on it. Normally they're a team that when they get a steal, they come down and set up their offense, unless it's maybe Aaron Brooks or Kyle Lowry or Von Wafer in that open floor.
Here's Odom over Artest. And Yao chases down the loose ball. 5th rebound for Yao Ming.
Kevin, what the Rockets like to do with Brooks here, if he can push it and get something easy there, nice little play against Fisher, they'll take it. But they want to use clock, keep the Lakers on defense, play late in that clock, move the ball, and get high percentage shots.
On a 6-0 run right now. This is a 3 by Kobe Bryant, the close by Battier, the rebound by Gasol, and the rejection by Yao inside. The confident Yao Ming. We're late in the first quarter here in Los Angeles, and aerial coverage tonight provided by Goodyear. New Fuel Max tires help you get there using less gas. Fuel Max, only from Goodyear. It's the Rockets on top by 7, equaling their biggest lead. The Lakers have not had a lead tonight yet. Test an early 7 points for the Rockets. Kobe has started 2 of 5. Lakers as a team shooting 28%. Let's take a look at what the numbers say, Doug, in the regular season meetings. There were 4, and the Lakers swept the Rockets.
Well, look at the points. About 90 points a game, and that's what I talked about, Kevin. That's why this game has to be in the high 80s or low 90s for the Rockets. You see, they shot a pretty good percentage. Look at the three-point shooting, and the Rockets had a franchise record here this season in terms of free throw or the three-point shooting percentage, averaged over 8 makes a game. So that's so important to them. But you heard Craig Sager talk about it early in the first quarter when he gave his report. This series is much closer than 4-0. It's the Lakers have owned the fourth quarter. They've outscored the Rockets on an average almost 12 points a game in each fourth quarter. And here in the Staples Center, they beat one night by 22 in the fourth quarter, the other one by about 14. So they have been very dominant in that fourth quarter when they really let Kobe go to work. And that's when they play a lot of that freelance basketball, a lot of screen rolls, and that's what the Rockets are going to have to be able to defend tonight.
Vujacic and Brown have checked in for Fisher and Ariza. And for the Houston Rockets, Wafer has come in for Skoll. Landry has come in for Artest. 2:39 to play here in the first. Lakers have missed 7 consecutive shots. Vujacic over the late close. Rebound by Carl Landry, who played at Purdue.
Well, when you always talk about series matchups, the Lakers love Vujacic against Von Wafer. Von Wafer, a very explosive scorer coming off the bench, played for the Lakers. They like that matchup.
Here's Landry, late close by Odom. Rebound by Kobe Bryant. Pulls down his 3rd rebound tonight. Playing with the sore throat, which has been a story here in Los Angeles. Yao now watches Bryant. Yao comes out on Gasol. So Gasol, Doug, 1 of 3. The Lakers end a field goal drought of 3.5 minutes.
Well, when Yao Ming is playing against Pau Gasol, you're going to see a lot of screen rolls. This is Aaron Brooks, who actually played very well on the road in that Portland series. He went to school at Oregon, very comfortable at home, and he had some great games. 27 points in one game, 23, averaged 25 the first 2 games.
Odom goes around Carl Landry. Odom had a great first-round series against Utah. Right there off the bench, Odom's got 2.
Well, he has a speed and quickness advantage. When he moves to that 4 spot, if he's making his outside jump shot, if you have to close on him, he has such advantage with quickness.
Now with the screen, Brooks with the miss. Rebound is pulled down by Kobe, who has another board. 4. The defense of Battier. The dive by Bryant. Now we got a little shove afterwards, as you can see.
You know, Kobe...
Bryant just picked up his first personal foul.
Well, he got the loose ball foul, and you know, Kobe reminds me of Michael in so many different ways, but right now he's a little bit flat. He doesn't feel well. Look at him at the end of this play. He gets a little upset. A lot of times when I coach Michael, and you've seen him through the years, looking for something just to get him fired up, get him, you know, into this game. And look and see if Kobe maybe tries to go to work here a little bit, but he's very flat here to start this game.
Kyle Lowry is checked in for Brooks. There's a travel that goes on Von Wafer, a former Los Angeles Laker draft choice, a 2nd-round pick. That is the 4th turnover by the Houston Rockets.
Well, that's what I call the irritant, Vujacic. He's a guy that gets up and does a nice job with his speed and quickness. His three-point shooting is so important, and Kevin, he's really struggled in that Utah series. It was 6 of 18 for 3, but how about this? He was 0 of 11 from the 2-point line, did not have a 2-point make.
Bryant to Vujacic, who slices inside. Doug, you were talking about that before. He lost Von Wafer going inside. That's a basket for Vujacic.
That's his first 2-point make in the playoffs. Here he is going to work again.
Wafer trying to get it out. He was red hot in that first-round series that the Rockets played against the Portland Trail Blazers. The shot clock here down to 5.
Look where they're pushed out to. This is what the Lakers do. They start pressuring you.
Lowry and Brown tails off on the defense. A 5th rebound by Kobe Bryant. Rockets have a foul to give. It's Odom. 1 of 3. Defended by Carl Landry. Looking for Gasol. And back of him was Yao. And there is a whistle. Looks like Yao was pushing on him. He was. He picks up his 2nd personal foul to match the 2 on the starting Lakers center, Bynum.
Well, obviously the Lakers have much more depth at that position and size. Here's Vujacic on that weak side cut, so he has come in defensively and offensively now and made his presence be felt. Yao Ming now has to sit down. no Dikembe Mutombo, who had that horrible knee injury that is going to end his career. This is where he could come in and buy some minutes. Now they're very small with Luis Scola and Carl Landry on that front line.
Difference is 7 seconds, the game clock and shot clock. Scola has come in for Yao. Battier looking for the Gasol screen, which he got, but he fights through. And by Scola goes Gasol. Listen, the left-handed jam. Bryant got it on the ricochet. Goes by Scola. Throws it out to Vujacic for three. The close by Landry. Scola got a hand on it. It is off of Houston.
Well, Shane Battier just got an elbow. He's got a cut
bleeding
over his
left eye.
Oh, my
gosh, is he bleeding. Wow. The officials don't see it. And now he has to point it out to everybody else as the terrific defender Battier, a guy who's won a national championship at Duke, goes off to the side. They're going to stitch that up.
See here, right there, you can see Vujacic came down with that left arm and comes through. You can see as he goes through, knocks the ball loose and then hits Shane Battier in the eye. Right there it is. You see the elbow as Vujacic knocks the ball to Kobe. Then Kobe with the penetration, actually playing 5-on-4 here right now. He finds Vujacic, who misses the three-point shot from the corner.
Doug, you had a lot of questions coming into this series, but in particular, you were wondering if the Rockets could defend well enough to slow Los Angeles down. Could they get their defense set? Well, you've watched most of this first quarter. What do you see so far?
They've done a nice job. I think a lot of it is the Lakers are a little out of sync right now, but you know what? Like I always say, you're not playing solitaire, so sometimes it has to do with your opponent. It's not always you that's not out of sync, but why are you out of sync? And because the Rockets have done a nice job. I thought the Lakers started out the game, and I watched Phil Jackson. He was not happy with their ball movement, thought there was too much dribbling. A lot of times with a layoff, that's what happens. He was worried about the shooting. They are 8 of 24 after shooting in that series against Utah. 49%, yeah. Which was the second best in the playoffs. So they're a little bit out of sync, but a lot of it is how well the Houston Rockets have played. The question is, now with Yao Ming with 2 fouls, what effect is that going to have on the game as we play on?
Last year in the playoffs, we've talked about the week off that the Los Angeles Lakers have, and after they took care of the Utah Jazz, they played a week ago tonight. They had the same situation, Doug, a season ago when they took care of the Denver Nuggets, and they had 6 days off before their next round. And this year, commenting on that, Gasol said, we learned our lesson from what we went through a season ago. Well, at least in the first quarter, maybe they're still learning.
Well, I think, though, Kevin, you know what you need to do, but these players are so conditioned to play like every other day or every 2 days, 3 days. That's a long rest, so the mind is right. They know what they're supposed to do. They're getting their basketball legs back again, and I expect them as the game goes on to get much better, and that's why I thought the Rockets, it was important for them to get off to a good start. They don't play well from behind because they don't get easy points. They don't get points off the fast break. They don't get points off turnovers. They have to come down and really run their offense and shoot a high percentage, especially from behind that line.
Artest and Kobe Bryant sharing a laugh at the other end. Quick inbound. Artest was taking the place of Battier. We're going to get an update from Craig Sager on that when we come back here to Los Angeles. Kobe Bryant starts 2 of 5. Artest a red hot 3 of 5, 7, including a 3. It's game 1, and at the end of 1, the Rockets lead the Los Angeles Lakers 21-18 on TNT.
That if it's not going to be called, then you're going to have to go out and you got to respond if they're going to pick you up. And that's what we talked about. They're going to extend their pressure on us, and we have to adjust to that. Can't try to dribble the clock out. I thought that's what we did.
Thanks a lot. Back to you, Kevin.
Greg, thank you very much. Quick basket right there by Odom. Here comes Wafer right into the defense of Trevor Ariza. And scooped up by Ariza to Vujacic, 2-on-1, then a 3-on-1 with Ariza coming from behind. He got by Artest, and he goes around Lowry.
Well, now the Rockets really better calm themselves down, because this Laker team now that's on the floor is their speed team. They're going to try to pick up the tempo, the pace of the game. Odom is out there with Gasol. And this is where the Rockets are going to have to execute. Nice play that time to get it inside to Landry. Both of these teams' second units like to run. Lowry and Von Wafer like to push it for the Rockets. Shannon Brown and Vujacic love to get out and run with Ariza, who's spotting up here in the corner for the 3.
Late close by Landry on Ariza, who's already hit a 3 tonight. And picked up by Ron Artest, shadowed by Odom. Artest, Landry, Hayes, Von Wafer, and Lowry. For the Houston Rockets, they triple team Artest. Lowry, who was acquired in a midseason trade, gets it back to Artest. Odom on him. Hayes looking underneath. There's a 3-second violation. And that is a turnover number 5 for the Houston Rockets. Frank, what do you have?
Well, Shane Battier back in the locker room being attended to by the Rockets physician, Dr. Tom Clanton. They're preparing him right now to have stitches. I don't know how many, but it is a major cut over his left eye.
All right, we'll keep on top of that. Thank you, Brown, Odom, Gasol, Ariza, and Vujacic. The Laker 5 on the floor. There is Pau Gasol. Let's head over Chuck Hayes. He's from Los Angeles. And a whistle. 10:20 to play here in the second quarter. Pau Gasol picks up his first foul. He has started the game 1 of 5.
Well, Chuck Hayes is a pretty good low post defender, even though he's undersized, because what he does, Kevin, he gets down and he uses his leverage, and he tries to get his leverage into the legs of Pau Gasol to keep him away the basket. And what Pau Gasol knows is if he can get to his spot, he can go up and shoot that little jump hook. He was upset. He thought he had an easy play there and ended up going over the back for a foul. Brent Berry in the game now. We know he brings experience and terrific three-point shooting.
Won a couple championships with San Antonio. Takes the place away from. Here comes the double-teamed Artest. Hayes, Lowry. Brown is on Lowry. And Berry, shot clock at 4. And that was caught by Trevor Ariza, who played at UCLA. Here comes Lamar Odom. Met by Artest at the other end. And Gasol. Hayes defended.
So he used his lower body here just to keep him away from the basket. Ariza's a great cutter. It's a tough matchup for Landry to try to stay with Ariza. Ariza has the speed and quickness because they've got Artest actually playing Lamar Odom. So there's a cross match that you asked about before.
And Ariza's got 8. There's a drive inside by the offensive-minded Lowry. He was working in on Ariza. Also some defense by Odom. 9:23 to play here in the second. Odom picks up his second personal foul for the Los Angeles Lakers. Here at the sold-out Staples Center. Kevin Harlan, Doug Collins, and Craig Sager. National coverage of the NBA playoffs continues. Tuesday on TNT, Game 1 of that Atlanta-Cleveland series, followed by Game 2 of the Mavs and Nuggets. Thursday on ESPN, Game 2 of the Hawks and Cavs. Coverage begins at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. And then Saturday on ABC, it's Game 3 of the Cavs and Hawks. Coverage starts 8 o'clock Eastern. There goes Odom with the 2 fouls. And here comes in, for the first time, Josh Powell for the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah, Phil Jackson actually told us before the game, he said Josh Powell had a very good game in here late in the season against the Houston Rockets. As a result of that, he's earned some playing time. Coaches don't forget matchups. You know, Kevin, you hear me all the time talk about matchups. In the NBA, it's a game of matchups. You try to get an advantage on the floor anytime you can. And that's what Phil Jackson is looking here for, to see if he can get the same kind of effort out of Josh Powell that he got earlier in the season.
They've got Berry on Vujacic. There's a screen by Powell. The switch on defense. Landry goes on Vujacic. Saul tries to dump it inside. Berry comes up with it. That's the 5th turnover by the Los Angeles Lakers. And Lowry racing the other way using his speed and flies by Brown and picks up 2 and puts the Rockets on top by 2. Lowry off the bench with his first points right there. Josh Powell over Ron Artest. Rebound by Lowry.
Lowry will push that ball. The Lakers got to get back. Normally the Rockets don't look to push it. Aaron Brooks will push it on occasion, but this is their speed lineup looking for easy baskets.
Hayes setting a screen. Terry goes over Vujacic. That was a missed 3. Hayes with a good-looking offensive rebound. And here is Lowry. In the rebounding category tonight, Lakers are +4 so far.
And the Rockets are not a great offensive rebounding team. Now, we saw in that Portland series, they did a nice job in the offensive backboard.
Artest a 3. He's nailed 1. He banks that in with Ariza right in front. Ron Artest has put in a game-high 10 points.
And he looked back at the Lakers bench almost like, excuse me. There's a walk on Vujacic. So you can see right now, this Rocket team is a much better defensive team than the Utah Jazz. Utah Jazz would put pressure on the Lakers offensively. This Houston Rocket team is a very sound, fundamental defensive team. Ron Artest, excuse me, that's what that backboard is up there for, to use it, and the Rockets lead by 5.
On Shane Battier, who had a cut above his eye, 4 stitches to close. And then Doug says, hey, I got 40 stitches. And I said, 40 stitches, and a guy on the bench of the Rockets gave it to you.
Yeah, Jack Sigma actually got me. He had the ball over his head one night, and I tried to come from behind to take it, and he turned at that time and got me right in my eye, just like below it and above it, just exploded kind of thing. So
40. Oh my gosh. Foul comes out on Lowry, as does Fisher, who just checks back in the game. And a loose ball picked up by Bynum inside. We got 2 quick early fouls. They put him on the bench. Here comes Kobe. He's back in the game. Works on Barry. Rebound pulled down by Chuck Hayes. Lowry the other way. Into Landry. Corkscrews in. Rejected by Kobe Bryant. And counted for 2 on the goaltend. So let's set the stage right now as we see a nice play by Landry. Houston on a 7-0 run. Landry off the bench. 8 minutes and 5 points. Barry, Landry, Lowry, along with Artest and Hayes on the Rocket defense right now at the other end. Powell, Fisher, Ariza, Kobe Bryant, and Andrew Bynum for the Los Angeles Lakers.
Well, you can see this lineup without Yao Ming is looking to run for the Rockets. They've gotten some easy hoops there as Josh Powell who knocks down that jump shot. And again, he had played well enough at the end of the season against this team that Phil Jackson said he wanted to give him a look. The one guy we still have not seen is Jordan Farmar. He has been the guy sort of the odd man out of the rotation since Shannon Brown has taken his minutes. Actually, Farmar was a DNP for the Lakers the last 3 games of that series.
Sorry to interrupt you. Ariza just picked up a foul. That was the first on him as you take a look at the notes and numbers on Jordan Farmar. He's had 2 good practices, as Phil was telling us. He mentioned that's probably going to say he might get in this game pretty soon.
Yeah, and he feels like he can play against either Brooks or Lowry, so he likes those matchups with Farmar, especially if Fisher is struggling tonight, and maybe with the speed of those players.
Shot clock at 3 over Powell. Artest. And picked up by the hustling Chuck Hayes. My goodness, he is a great attribute for this Rocket team off the bench. Barry, a wide open 3. And that just invites him to fire. The Rockets are plus 9 points beyond the 3-point arc. Well, 9-zip.
That's a big part, Kevin, of their team. They averaged over 8 makes in the season, shot 38%, which was a franchise record.
You saw the second chance points. There's the 3-point shooting so far. Bynum was picked up by Hayes. Out of bounds it goes, and you mentioned this earlier, Doug, that the Lakers just look out of sync, and Phil Jackson concerned about it early in this game.
Well, they're catching the ball and like playing a lot of one-on-one, and Hayes does a great job. He's pushing both of their big men out of the post. Lowry
to Barry, Barry to Lowry. They move the ball. Artest. Powell comes out on Barry, who goes inside with his pass to Landry. And a whistle, and that's a 6th turnover for the Houston Rockets, just beyond the halfway point of this second quarter.
Well, Chuck Hayes reminds me a little bit of Big Baby Davis in Boston. He's not the offensive player, but he can play bigger players, and he's given them nice minutes. Yao Ming's gotten a long rest with 2 fouls, and Houston's extended the lead to 8.
Mailbag at NBA.com/Reggie's Mailbag.
Wonderful night here in Los Angeles. Last month, Rocket forward Luis Scola joined local middle school students for a Team Up, Green Up volunteer project. Given a big helping hand by Scola, the group cleared branches and removed invasive plants in an effort to beautify trails at a Houston Arboretum. The NBA, where caring happens, especially in Houston, Texas. Kevin Harlan, Doug Collins, Craig Sager, just beyond the halfway point of this second quarter. You take a look at the numbers on Luis Scola stepping up in the playoffs. His Rockets now lead at 34-26.
It's interesting here. Phil Jackson looking for a lineup that can give him a spark. He now has Derek Fisher and Kobe Bryant out on the floor with Ariza. Got Bynum back in the game against Yao Ming. Both these players have 2 fouls. More penal for the situation if Yao Ming picks up his 3rd, and there's Bynum just sort of squaring him up and knocking down that shot.
Bynum with 4. Here is Barry finding Yao Ming, picked up by Bynum. Will they double? They do with Ariza. Yao with a beautiful fadeaway shot. He's played 12 minutes. He's got 6 points and 5 boards. It's Fisher finding Bynum. Yao defending. Now looking for that rebound. It's congested inside. That is a loose ball foul, and it goes on Josh Powell out of North Carolina State in his 4th NBA season, number 1 on him.
Well, it's interesting, Kevin, you and I just come off that exciting Boston-Chicago 7-game, spectacular series. Really wasn't much post play. Now all of a sudden you're coming down, you're seeing the ball going to the post, guys playing inside out and stuff. It's a totally different series than what you and I have just done. The ball is going inside just like that to Yao Ming and stepping back and shooting a shot.
Yao is 3 of 6. Rebound by Powell, his first. Kobe is 2 of 6 over Battier. That's a missed 2. Rebound by Bynum. He puts it back up and in. He's played just a handful of minutes, but Bynum with 6 points.
I think when you look at the first half for the Lakers, he's been the one really bright spot. I mean, he's coming in here tonight and 6 points. He's got some rebounds, moving well.
Down through the double. Again, the Rockets have been moving that ball from side to side well, but that time a throwaway by Barry, and it's a 7th turnover. And picked up by Fisher. Collides with Barry. They go into the camera guy underneath the basket. In a rugged play. Barry ain't no young guy either, Coach. He's played a lot of years in this NBA, 14 to be exact.
Well, he turned that ball over and was backpedaling, and Derek Fisher, the rule of thumb here is you keep driving that ball until somebody stops you. You see Brent Barry just keeps backpedaling, never makes an attempt to get up and stop the ball, and with the result of that, he got back into that restricted area. Derek Fisher understands that. 2 very tough players. Derek Fisher, a guy that you look at the experience of him playing in the backcourt, how many playoff games he has played in his career, won 3 championships here with the Lakers. And then you look at Aaron Brooks and Kyle Lowry, the amount of minutes and games they have played. So you sort of have the youth and the speed and quickness on the side of the Rockets, and then the wily old veteran, Derek Fisher, tough, strong, terrific 3-point shooter.
Brent Barry picked up his first personal foul as you take a look at the point guard matchup tonight, which will be 2 for the Rockets, Brooks and Lowry against the aforementioned Fisher.
Well, look at the games, 159 to 18 minutes and assists and all. And, I thought that when he came back and really joined Kobe Bryant in that backcourt, it was such a boost for Kobe. Kobe has such a comfort level with Fish. Fish knows the pulse beat of the team. He's the ultimate professional. And then you add Pau Gasol, and that's why the Lakers are where they are right now, favorites to win the NBA championship along with Cleveland.
There is a shove inside. It goes on Kobe Bryant for the 2nd time, with Houston holding on to a 4-point lead. They've led by as many as 8. Lakers have had a 1-point lead early on 2 different occasions early in the game. Here is Shane Battier at the free throw line in the postseason, 91% from the stripe, 10 of 11. In the regular year, he was 82%. And from the executive producer, Jerry Bruckheimer, as an undercover cop in Los Angeles, how far can you go without going over? Don't miss the new series premiere of Dark Blue this July, only on TNT. Battier, once again, getting 2 at the stripe.
See, when you play out of the post, it settles the game down, and it gives you a chance to control the tempo of the game, get to the foul line, get your defense back. And they have got the Lakers seduced right now to very much a half-court game, their pace, not playing that frenetic style that they played against the Utah Jazz, where it was an up-and-down series.
Fisher is screened. Battier to late close. Kobe missing the 3. And the rebound by Luis Scola inside, who collects his 5th rebound. Lakers, by the way, 0 of 7 on 3-point tries tonight.
Kobe Bryant, 4 points on 8 shots.
And Ariza comes right into Gary Hasselness, our cameraman. As you can see, the collision. Trevor Ariza with the smile on his face. He's okay. And he's all tangled up now in our cables. And let's make sure Gary is okay. Boy, he took a hard shot. You okay, Gary? All right, the nod is there. He's a gamer, Coach.
Oh, Gary's tough. Gary's tough. Stayed with his shot. Look at it. He stayed with his shot to the last possible moment.
Wow.
Ariza going right into our camera guy, Gary, and thank God they're all okay.
I was protecting you. See right there, I was trying to protect you just in case something would fly in your direction.
I noticed.
I was worried.
You were protecting your notes.
I was. Here's Scola with a little half hook over Gasol. And a rebound pulled down by Kobe Bryant. That is his 6th. Bryant the other way. It's Ariza, but closed by Artest. He loses the ball. Another Los Angeles turnover. That is number 7 here in the first half. With 3:11 to play. And the Rockets will inbound.
I just saw Phil Jackson. He looked at Ariza, no place to go. And see what you saw, they chased him off the line, forced him into Scola and Yao Ming into a turnover. Rick Adelman's taking a timeout here, and you can only imagine here. They're up 6, 3:07 to go. You know the Lakers, they're a championship caliber team. This is when they want to try to make a push. Rick Adelman's going to talk to his team, manage the last 3 minutes. We have the game exactly where we want it.
We only have one player so far in double figures, Artest with 10. Bryant scored 2 of the first 3 baskets for the Los Angeles Lakers. Has not hit since 8 minutes left in the first quarter. The story offensively in the game, Ron Artest, Doug, he's got 10 points so far for Houston.
A drive, a left-handed dunk. He comes off a little pick and roll at the top, knocks down a long jump shot. The 3, he knocks in the basket, and then the long prayer off the glass, sort of excuse me, and Ron Artest, 4 of 7, 10 points. The bench has come in and done a nice job, and I think really the key was when Yao Ming picked up his second foul, they managed that time, and they're actually +5 with Yao Ming off the floor. So it's going to be interesting here. The Lakers are going to try to push up the defense here. And you know, Rick Adelman talked to Greg Sager earlier and said when teams pressure us, this is where we have to handle the pressure and make sure you get good shots.
With the shot clock at 10, it's Yao. Got great position on Gasol. That was it. Took the leap inside the paint. Slams it down. Yao's got 10. Artest has 10. Rocket starters out there. Battier, Scola, Yao, Artest, and Brooks. And all the starters out there for the Lakers except for Bynum. On the bench right now, Odom taking his place.
And Yao Ming has to stay away from his third foul. He's got to be very careful here against Gasol, who's a quicker player.
It's Fisher. Great fake. Brooks flies by. A deuce. That's Fisher putting it in. 2 of 6 with 6 points. Ariza's on Artest.
See, with no Tracy McGrady out with an injury, Ron Artest really does a lot of the ball handling and enters the ball a lot for the Houston Rockets.
Yao over Gasol, picked up by Fisher, and out of Kobe, 2 of 8. Battier meets him at the other end. Kobe Bryant. And Kobe has his first field goal since 8 minutes left in the first quarter.
But he's taken 9 shots and has not taken a free throw. So if you're the Rockets, you feel very good right now about the defense you've been able to play. And the fact that Ron Artest is shooting the ball very, very well. Again, very streaky and erratic in that first 5 games against Portland. Game 6, he had 27 points, 12 in that first quarter when he got him off to a great start.
Gasol gets the rebound on the Kobe miss, working inside on Score. That is a foul with 1:46 to play here in the first half from downtown Los Angeles. And Shane Battier has picked up his first foul for the Houston Rockets as we take you to our TNT Arena across the country and Ernie Johnson.
All right, thank you, Kev. Southwest Airlines game break coming up shortly. The T-Mobile halftime report. Charles Kinney and C. Webb will be here to break down the first half in L.A. We'll have highlights of Game 1 in the Magic Celtics series won by Orlando. And on Inside, a complete wrap-up of the night with highlights and all the post-game yakety-yak. Now back to Los Angeles. Kevin and Doug and Segs.
EJ, thank you very much. Ray Allen, by the way, in that game was only 2 of 12 for the Boston Celtics.
Well, remember in Game 1 against Chicago, he was 1 of 12, 0 of 6 from 3, and missed a shot there that would have sent the game to double overtime. So we've seen Ray Allen bounce back before. He had 51 in Game 5.
Yep. Howard, by the way, had 16, and Rashard Lewis had 18 in that game. All the details coming up moments from now back in Atlanta. Little trap on Brooks. Scola. This is over Bryant, feeding outside with Odom. Clinging on to Battier, shot clock at 2. Knocked away by Yao, picked up by Scola. Shot clock violation. Nice defense by Los Angeles.
Yeah, nice job there also too with Shane Battier. They really pressed up on Shane Battier. He's not a guy who's going to put the ball on the floor. He tried to get Odom off his feet and get a foul, and Lamar Odom did a nice job of not fouling. The ball was knocked loose, and just after the shot clock, that would have been a big basket to push that lead back up to 6 for the Rockets.
Artest with 12. 10 for Yao. No one in double figures yet for the Los Angeles Lakers. Kobe's got 6. 8 for Ariza. And Gasol drives on Yao. Lost it inside. Scola picks it up. I think Gasol got hit in the face once again. 8th turnover for LA. Brooks to Yao. Odom on him with the mismatch. Fisher digging it out and pulls it back for Los Angeles. No fouls to give either way. Fisher has 4 rebounds.
The Lakers are just not sharp offensively. Their passes aren't crisp. That time Ariza looked like he had a possible shot, and Derek Fisher threw a bad pass.
Kobe working on Battier. Still won't go. And picked up by Brooks. Kobe 3 of 11 to start. Remember now, he's got the sore shoulder. He is under the weather, as Craig Sager talked about at the top of our broadcast, as you see the numbers from the field in the first half. About 11, 12-second difference, game clock and shot clock. Gasol just tripped Brooks. Doug, you were talking before about the point guard matchup and the experience for Fisher, the youth for the Houston Rockets, the lack of postseason experience. Did you think the speed game from the perimeter for the Rockets with those two young kids would come into play, and maybe we'll see it more as the series goes on?
Absolutely, and that's a concern. And you see Kyle Lowry there on the bench. He was picked up in the trade. Think about this now. Tracy McGrady goes down with a knee injury. They lose him. At the same time, they trade Rafer Alston, their starting point guard, and turn the team over to Aaron Brooks and Kyle Lowry coming in. So, I mean, Rick Adelman talked to us, early in the year about it. He said, I'm wondering, what are we doing here kind of thing. But Daryl Morey, the general manager for the Rockets, who's done such a great job. And these young guys have given them quite a lift. They finished the season 22-8. A good substitution to get Yao Ming out of the game so he does not pick up his third foul.
Yao is out. Hayes is in. Gasol picked up his second personal foul. And here comes Kobe Bryant in the first half. 10 seconds. Bryant over Hayes. There he goes. Kobe got that one to go. He's got 8. Final seconds. And Ron Artest with the long pass. Shot, which he misses, and Houston is on top by 3. They led by as many as 8. They got 2 in double figures. Artest with his 12 and a couple of threes, and Yao with 10. No one in double figures yet, Doug, for the Los Angeles Lakers. You talked about the start of the game. Houston got that 3-point shooting. Houston on top there. And what about the pace of the game? You like it? Yep.
Pace of the game is right there. The question is, are the Lakers, I know they're going to be a lot sharper in the second half. Are the Rockets going to be able to score enough points? You know the Lakers are going to be sharper in the second half. And I think Craig Sager's over there with the Ron Artest. Sags?
Well, thanks, Doug. Kobe Bryant made the last shot, but he's only 4 for 12 in that first half with Shane Battier guarding him. You'll probably have to have him in the fourth quarter. What are you guys trying to do to keep the ball away from Kobe or maybe control him a little bit?
I mean, he missed 8 shots, Those shots could have easily went down. It's just the way the game is going right now, but we know we got another 24 minutes. That's going to be pretty difficult.
You're leading scorer in the game with 12 points. How is your shot going, particularly that one? Did you call glass?
No, I did not call glass. I would not lie.
All right, but it's going pretty good for you offensively.
I mean, Yao Ming is creating so many open opportunities for us. Shot is falling a little bit, but we know we got a long way to go. We got to just keep it up.
All right, thanks a lot. We'll take a break. We'll come back with the T-Mobile Halftime Report. EJ in the studios, along with Charles, Kenny, and C. Webb.
The Lakers were almost plus 10 a game behind that three-point line.
As you just saw, the Dos Equis game summary. Lakers out there with their starters. They want the alley-oop on the pass. Gasol looking for Bryant. Knocked away beautifully on the play. 9th Los Angeles turnover, and here comes Aaron Brooks with Artest on the floor. Yao, Scola, Battier. The starting 5 out there to begin the second half for the Houston Rockets. Over Gasol, it's Scola. With a quick 2, he's got 6.
The importance for your 4-man for the Rockets, either Landry or Scola, to make that shot. With all the double teaming defenses they see, such a vital part of that Rockets offense.
Ariza, Gasol, Bynum, Bryant, and Derek Fisher with the ball right now. They begin the second half. Working on Brooks, met by Yao. Snapped it outside. Great interception by Battier. Ahead to Brooks. Lakers trying to get back on D. Turnover number 10 for Los Angeles. Artest, 5 of 9. Into Yao. A little pirouette. No one was on him. And this is the point-blank range shot, but they get the ball and a fresh shot clock with which to work.
Well, the energy here to start this third period is in favor of the Rockets. Yao Ming was upset that he had missed that easier shot. I think the thing to look at here, too, Kevin, 11 shots for Yao Ming against Portland. He averaged 10 a game. They had really, with all those double teams, had taken him out. He's getting his shots tonight.
Battier defending Kobe. Another miss. He's 4 of 13. So we've got 10.5 here to play in the third quarter. Craig, what do you have?
Oh, the Lakers starting this half the same way they started the game. Phil Jackson said he didn't know if it was a layoff or not, but they just weren't in sync. He said it was like the Kentucky Derby. The horses in the starting gate can't wait to get out, but once they went out, they kind of were out of control at the beginning. He also said that Kobe Bryant didn't make any excuses, nothing about his illness, said those are shots he normally makes, and he'll continue to take them. Kevin?
Scola with 8. Thank you, Craig.
Yeah, this typical Phil Jackson. A lot of coaches jump up and take a timeout. He's looking at his guys and say, fight through it. Find a way to get through this tough time you're going through right now. And we'll see if the Rockets can continue to push this lead, try to get in double digits.
Yao with his 6th rebound. Out to Battier. Kobe is watching Ron Artest way off. Good defense by Kobe. Picked up by Bynum. Lakers have led for only 33 seconds, a 1-point lead on 2 separate occasions back early in the game. That's been it tonight for LA, the #1 seed in the West. Slicing inside is Kobe Bryant. He went by Artest, he went flying into Yao and Scola, and digs up 2 right there. So Kobe finds his 10th point. Scola finds his 2nd foul.
Well, this is important that this foul goes on the power forward Scola instead of Yao Ming in that situation. If that's Yao Ming, that's his 3rd. Scola here gets the foul, and see if this gets Kobe Bryant going, getting to the foul line, possible 3-point play. So if you're the Rockets, you have to be very happy that that foul was not called on the big man Yao Ming.
And Doug, as you always say with Kobe, he always gives his Laker teammates what they need at a particular time. He can always redirect himself.
He feels the game, and right now they're struggling. Let's see if he starts to put his personality more on this game. Thought early he looked for some shots, but has not been in sync all night. Give the Rockets a lot of credit defensively.
Kobe's on the point guard. Screen by Yao. Artest tries to find some room. Shot clock is down to 4. Screen by Scola. Brooks lasering it inside, intercepted by Kobe Bryant. Turnover number 9. Kobe, Gasol, Bynum. Yao was right there, but Bynum, who is scoring well tonight, in only 9 minutes he has put in 8 points. We got those 2 early fouls, and 3 minutes gone here in the 3rd.
Well, Rick Adelman upset that Aaron Brooks did not take that shot. He had a jump shot, and he passed it up and forced a turnover, and then they were able to run down the Lakers and get an easy hoop in the paint.
Now against Bynum, doubled by Ariza, knocked the ball away. Here comes Kobe Bryant. In front is Battier to the trailing Gasol. And that is an offensive foul with 8:42 to play here in the 3rd quarter. Gasol, Doug, his 3rd.
Well, Kobe's telling Gasol, you and Andrew Bynum were running too close together, so there was so much congestion. I think Kobe initially might have tried to throw that ball to Bynum, but Gasol was trailing and took the pass. And the Rockets are going to take charges, especially Shane Battier. That's what he's done his entire career.
Here's Brooks to Artest. Now once again, Bynum trying to push him out. Rebound by Pau Gasol. Claims his 6th rebound. Lakers have had 3 turnovers already in the early stages of the 2nd half. It's Fisher, picked up by Brooks, finds Bynum, allowed to fire, conceding the shot was Yao. Bynum is the 2nd Laker in double figures. He's got 10 with Kobe's 10.
Well, Phil Jackson did not take that timeout. They were down 49-40. They responded with a 6-0 run, so he knows his team.
And a steal. It's Ariza. Here comes Artest. Here comes Battier. Trevor to the rack. Boy, he gets the steal. He fends off 2 defending Houston Rockets, Doug, and has the presence and the concentration to put it in. And just like that, we've got a 1-point game.
How interesting. It looked like the Lakers were in trouble. They needed a timeout. And now it's the Rockets in trouble. Rick Adelman going to take the timeout, but this is what the Lakers do. They average almost 9 steals a game in the regular season, over 18 points. Their defense creates offense for them. Got them right back in the ball game.
Fast.
Rockets have led by as many as 9. Lakers have led a couple times by a single point. 1-point game and about 8 minutes to play here in the 3rd quarter.
Well, you can talk about how the Lakers are out of sync offensively. You can see they did not get to the free throw line. You see in the first round, averaged 21 makes a game. Tonight, only 6 in the first half. How about the three-pointers? Made over 8 a game. Tonight, none. They're 0 of 8. About first half points, almost 57 against Utah in that series. Tonight, 40. Starting to get themselves back into the game. Now, that's 13 points off turnovers for the Lakers here as they're trying to have their defense pick up. This is where the Rockets have to be impatient and get good shots. Be patient and get good shots.
Neither team made a change coming out of that break. The shot clock is at 6. A quick trap on Artest with Gasol and Ariza. He slides it to Scola. The uncovered Brooks. The close by Kobe. That's a 3. Brooks nails a 3. You mentioned earlier that Brooks had played so well on the road in round one. And he's off to a little start now with 8 points here.
Well, he shot it very well, too. That's why he shouldn't have passed up that three in the first round. 13 of 29 from the three-point line. So when you're shooting it well, you never pass up an open shot.
Lakers have hit 4 consecutive shots. The slashing Ariza goes inside, meeting Yao. Bynum over Yao. Rebound by Luis Scola. That is number 6. Make it 7. Brooks around the Yao screen. Slithering inside. Rebound by Gasol. Fisher was following him in. And we've got 6:59 to play here in the third quarter, and looks like a foul called on the Los Angeles Lakers. This will go on Andrew Bynum, Doug. That'll be the third on him, and here is Aaron Brooks at the free throw line for the Houston Rockets.
Well, there's that graphic that talked about how well he played. Remember, this young guy played at Oregon, so in Portland he was very comfortable. I'm sure he had a lot of family there. He got off to a great start in game one, had 27 in that game when the Rockets had their best offensive game of the playoffs, had 108 points. 34 in that first quarter. They never really looked back, and that one win stole them the home court from Portland, and did not need it after that as they went home. Did not have to win against Portland as they won all 3 games on their home court.
Aaron Brooks led the Pac-10 in scoring his last year. Second-year player, late first-round pick. It's Fisher over Brooks. That slides in. Fisher gets a nice little bounce. 3 of 8. 8 points for Fish. 6.5 to play in the third. Ron Artest picked up by Ariza. Yao over by Yao with the great looking shot. He's got 14.
I love that possession. Catch the ball in the post, kick it right out, go right back in, and in rhythm shoot your jump shot. An excellent possession by the Rockets.
It's Gasol over Scola. And the rebound is retrieved by Ron Artest. That is his third board.
Yao Ming wants that ball in the post. Let's see if they go back to him once again.
Screen by
Big
Yao,
screen.
knocked out Fisher. Here comes Scola in a wrestling match with Ariza. A wide open Artest. It was a screen by Scola. That is his third 3. He's got 15. And a guy who's coming off a 27-point game in their clincher against the Portland Trail Blazers in round 1, picking up where he left off. And now he picks up a foul on the perimeter with a driving Trevor Ariza. Houston is on a 10-2 run. Artest picks up his first foul.
Well, this has been a game of runs here in this third quarter. About plus 15 from behind the arc now for the Rockets. And you see the bench into this and know how important that three-point shooting is.
Wow.
When you have a post game and you spread the floor, you got to knock down shots. And with Artest making shots, you know, Shane Battier can make them. We've seen Aaron Brooks throughout the playoffs.
Here's a 3 by Kobe. That is the first three-point hit. They are 1 of 9. Just what you were talking about, three-point shooting in this game. And it's a 6-point advantage for the Rockets. As Brooks begins to drive, looks on Fisher, who is lunging in, picks up the personal foul. And Fisher picks up his first. You're just extending that conversation, Doug, about the Rockets and three-point shooting. They set a franchise record this season, 37.5% from above the arc.
Well, it's a big staple. They scored 24 of their 98 points a game in the regular season behind the three-point line. And you can see in wins and losses what they've done. First round, 41%. In the losses, only 29%.
Scola to Brooks. Mismatch against Gasol. Flies by him. Boy, he explodes for the deuce. 61-53 the Rockets. And Brooks has put in 12.
He got the message from Rick Adelman. Shoot the basketball.
Rockets now 7 of 10 in this third quarter. Battier watching Kobe Bryant. Bynum now lets him fire.
They'll live with that. They'll live with that long jump shot instead of Kobe Bryant shooting the ball. Every time that happens, the Shane Battier, who's guarding Kobe Bryant, and the Rockets take a deep breath and say thank you.
Battier with his second rebound. Brooks finds Scola. Oh, a rejection by Ariza. As the Rockets are having a 70% shooting third quarter.
See, Kevin, I think for the Rockets to win this game tonight, they have to have a double-digit lead going into the fourth quarter because the Lakers are so good, especially here at home in the fourth quarter. This is a very, very important 4.5 minutes here for the Rockets to try to extend this lead.
3 seconds on the shot clock. It ricocheted off a Los Angeles Lakers. So 3 seconds at the other end of the floor. Rockets will inbound. Take a look at Luis Scola. Here is Brooks. They'll fire. Good if it goes. Oh, my goodness, just that close, and Bryant gets the rebound. That is his 7th, and here comes Kobe. Met by Battier. Kobe Bryant. And Kobe Bryant has gone 6 of 15 And he's got a Laker high 15 for Ron Artest.
Again, though, the volume shots, 16 shots for Kobe, 15 points. He's only gotten to the line one time.
7 in this third quarter for Kobe Bryant, battling flu-like symptoms. The quick double on Yao. You saw Horton do this in round 1, and he just spins around and drops a sledgehammer.
Now this man, 7'6", probably weighs upwards of 300 and something pounds. How quick was he on that little spin move? Beat Bynum on the baseline.
Kobe, screened by Bynum. Battier fights through it, and Gasol is there to clean it up for Los Angeles. He's got 6, only 2 of 8 from the floor. Pau Gasol. Pace is picking up here a little bit in the third.
Yeah, and Rockets have to be very careful. They don't want to quick shoot the ball.
Look at Brooks again. Wind his way in and slash for 2. They can't stop him. 9 in the quarter for Aaron Brooks and 14 for the game.
See, what's happened is they're getting in there on the post on Yao Ming, and the big man is so worried about him that he's not helping on the drive on Brooks.
Kobe over Battier. Now Kobe Bryant is heating up. He's got 9, Doug, in this third quarter, and Kobe for the game, 17.
What I said, the Rockets are going to have to keep scoring. They're not going to shut the Lakers out the entire game. So they're going to have to find a way to keep putting points on the board.
Rockets 48% from the field. That's the shooting in this quarter. The drive inside by Artest, banging his way into Bynum. It looks like Andrew Bynum has picked up another foul. Or is it Ariza? Ariza has picked up his second. Second on Trevor Ariza. A live shot of the Staples Center. And the refurbished downtown here in Los Angeles. Beautiful night, beautiful downtown, and we are on TNT. Kobe Bryant is heating up. He has 17, 9 in the third. And the point guard for the Rockets, Brooks, has 9 of his 14 here in the third. And time for the Gatorade around the cooler. Let's send it over to Craig Sager.
Well, we showed a graphic early in the game where Derek Fisher has 159 playoff games under his belt compared to just 18 for the 2 point guards for Houston, Aaron Brooks and Kyle Lowry. I asked Fisher how he uses that experience to his advantage. He says, first of all, I have to use the physical style of my body to work against those 2 guys, and I have to recognize also their energy. I can't get caught up in the emotional energy of the younger fellas. He said, it's my ability to withstand any runs, to make sure if there are runs that we come back and recover. We recognize the ebb and flow of the games. I have to find a crack in their defense, take advantage of it, and try to find some way to put the game away in the fourth quarter. Kevin?
Fisher's now on the bench, Doug, and Jordan Farmar is going to come in for the first time in this game for the LA Lakers.
Well, Jordan Farmar is in there because he does have the speed and quickness to play against an Aaron Brooks. And we talked to Phil Jackson before the game, and he said that, as you pointed out before, Kevin, that Jordan Farmar has had a couple good practices. He feels good about him playing. Lamar Odom in the ball game right now. So Phil Jackson looking for a little bit more speed out there, maybe to try to change the tempo of this game. And Artest walks to the line with 1 of 2 and a 7-point lead now for the Houston Rockets.
Odom comes in for Bynum. Artest will meet Lamar. Screen by Kobe and a good one. Battier picks him up on the defensive rotation. There's a miss and a rebound by Yao. Yao's got his 7th board. And Odom from the floor. With the miss, Odom just picks up his 3rd personal foul. Odom is 2 of 5.
Well, Lamar Odom coming off a brilliant closeout game 5. 26 points, 3 blocks, 15 rebounds, 4 assists tonight. He has not gotten into the rhythm in this game. Coming off the bench tonight, he's going to have to readjust his game after starting the last 2.
Here's Shane Battier picked up by Kobe Bryant. Odom now switches and goes on Artest. Doubled by Ariza. Battier, Kobe with the close. That's a 3. It all picked up by Pau Gasol. Rebound number 9. Ariza, Odom.
Transition defense by the Rockets have been excellent tonight.
Over Battier, it's Kobe Bryant. And now Kobe, 9 of 19. 19 points, Doug, in 19 attempts.
This has taken on the exact personality of the other 4 games in the regular season. All games have been exceptionally close at the end of the third quarter, and the Lakers have dominated every one of those fourth quarters. Let's see if tonight's going to be different.
Fake by Battier on Kobe and finds 2 with the drive. Shane Battier is 1 of 5. He's got 4.
Well, we don't see that much from Shane putting the ball on the floor. Nice powerful move.
Side Odom trying to dig his way into Artest and Yao. With 1:32 to play here in the third quarter. Pretty good looking defense inside, but they're caught. And Ron Artest picks up his second foul.
Once again, the size of the Rockets. You've got Yao Ming in there, who's got obviously 7'6", Scola about 6'9", Artest, who was strong, got that big body. And so now when you drive in there, you're not having those open lanes that you had against Utah, and it's thrown the Lakers off here early. They're not getting those finishes at the rim that we've seen before. Lamar Odom has not been able to get that speed and quickness matchup that he had against Boozer in that, or Millsap in that first round. And so Artest has done a nice job here tonight against his boyhood friend Lamar Odom. These guys know each other all the way back since high school.
They played on an AAU team together in New York. 1 of 4 now from the free throw line for Odom. Free throws for the Lakers, 7 of 11. Rockets 9 of 12 in the free throw shooting category tonight, as you see right there. 3.5 to play here in the third. Ariza comes out on Artest. Farmar is on Brooks. Odom is watching Scola. Yao and Gasol. Scola. Odom was inside, could not get out of the close as a rebound by Kobe Bryant, number 8, with his 19 points. Saw the screen. Battier goes up against Yao. That's a good-looking shot by Kobe Bryant, a tough one. He's got 21.
Well, Kobe's looking to heat it up now, to say the least, after that very quiet first half. 13 points here in this quarter, now 21 for the ball game. So we're going to have to find him here quickly, try to force him to get that ball up as a turnover, and Brooks gets it back.
Yao, Scola, Artest for 3, Odom to close. Out of bounds. Neither team has a foul to give. 4-point game and just under 43 seconds to play in the third. Are you a coach like Jackson in terms of if your team was struggling on the floor? A lot of coaches will call the timeout. You said before, he doesn't. He wants his team to work it out as the game goes on.
Well, you have to depend on how mature your team is. You know, Kevin, I coach very, very young teams. And sometimes they need a little bit more direction. Phil is a guy that let him work it out. In Chicago, Michael and Scotty, a little bit older when he was coaching them, so they had a better sense. You know, his first go-round with the Lakers, Shaq, Kobe, Fish, Rick Fox. So a lot of it depends on your personnel. Sometimes you got to take time out. Sometimes you got to let your team play through it.
Vujacic is coming for Ariza. Kobe for 3 over Battier. Rebound by Yao Ming.
That was a two-for-one possession there by the Lakers.
Now with his 9th rebound. Wafers come in for Artest. 10 seconds difference, game clock and shot clock winding down the third. It's Speedy Brooks. It's Wafer, the ex-Laker. Doubled. Brooks. Closed by Farmar, the missed 3. And Landry in the game picks it up, and he has the little layup inside. Landry, an indispensable player. 10 minutes, 7 points, and a couple rebounds. Farmar for 3, breaks the close. Boy, that is huge because Jordan Farmar, Doug, has been struggling. It's a long shot there at the buzzer. Jordan Farmar only had 1 point in the playoffs coming into tonight, but comes up with a big triple right there. And that brings the Lakers to within 3, and at the end of 3, it's the Rockets on top on TNT.
We have to tighten those, or end the clock. We have to tighten that up a little bit. Offensively, I think we got going a little bit. I'm still not happy with the way we're using power.
Thanks a lot. Thank you, Kevin.
Doug, the vampire didn't even blink when he said that.
He said butterscotch.
Wafer, who is taking a running shot, can't get it. Gasol comes up with the loose ball. Here comes Shannon Brown the other way, going headlong into Kyle Lowry. And that is an offensive foul. It is on Shannon Brown. And Doug, you've been talking about wait for the fourth quarter. Sure enough, it's upon us right now with these two teams.
Well, normally Kobe rests at this point in time, maybe till about the 8-minute mark or so. And he is on the floor, and you can see the numbers. A lot of that is dominated Kobe Bryant. And I talked to Phil before the game, and he said what happens in the fourth period, they sort of open the floor. Kobe takes the ball, handles the ball. They run a lot of screen rolls, especially with Gasol, with Yao Ming playing him. So let's see what happens here tonight. And again, can the Rockets find enough offense? Their defense has been good. This is going to be an offensive foul. So you've had a tough shot here by Von Wafer, an offensive foul. 2 poor possessions by the Rockets. And let's see if the Lakers can take advantage.
Wafer picks up his first foul. Wafer out there with Lowry, Landry, Yao, and Battier. Here manning the point now, Shannon Brown with Vujicic, Odom, Gasol working on Yao Ming and Kobe Bryant. Gasol, poor shooting night. Kobe feeding inside for Odom. Shot clock at 9. Gasol over Yao. Boy, Gasol really struggling, Doug. 2 of 9.
Yeah, and you heard Phil Jackson tell Craig Sayer he's not happy with the way they're using him tonight, so I don't know if it's not to get him on the post enough or get him that little open jump shot.
Lowry exploits Brown, who tripped and fell in an open shot for Lowry. Off the bench tonight, 10 minutes, 4 points. And here comes Kobe. Makes that stop on a dime, working on Battier, and Shane's momentum carried him, and Kobe gets the open 2. He's got 23.
Now the problem is there he's starting to heat up after 4 of 12. He's now 7 of his last 10. So he's getting into that groove.
Lowry looking in, and here's Gasol watching Yao Ming. Foul inside. I think Gasol picked it up. 10:28 to play here in the 4th quarter.
A little head fake that time by Yao Ming. And Gasol sort of straight leg did not get over. Vujicic was trying to come on the baseline. He got the foul.
He did.
One of the things about Yao Ming is he's a great free throw shooter, so you can go to him in the post late in games. And if you foul him, normally he's going to knock down about 85% of them.
You're right, Doug. Vujicic did pick up that first personal foul.
Excuse me, Kevin. I think Vujicic and Von Wafer doing a lot of chattering here. Scott Foster has warned both of them to sort of calm it down right now. So we'll have to keep our eye on that matchup. Both those guys very feisty.
Yao 4 of 4 from the line. National coverage of the NBA playoffs continues. We'll see what's coming up tomorrow night. Hawks, Cavs, Dallas, and Denver. Thursday, Hawks and Cavs, game 2 on ESPN. ABC coverage this weekend beginning at 8 o'clock, Cavs and Hawks. Look at Odom. Stick with it and put it right over both Battier and Wafer. 3-point game. And Lamar Odom with the basket. Now has 7. 2 minutes gone here in the 4th. Gasol pokes it away. Picked up by Shannon Brown. Turnover number 13. Brown, and he was hit by Lowry. Comes and sideswipes him and knocks it away, and Lowry picks up his first.
Well, we got to keep our eye on Yao Ming. I got a nice rest in that 2nd quarter with fouls, but he is starting to look like he's getting tired. Gasol now does a nice job. Phil Jackson told us knocking the ball loose off the dribble. That's exactly what he did. And as Yao Ming tried to pick that ball up, the Lakers swooped in and picked up the loose ball. So Yao Ming's going to have to really protect the ball with Gasol trying to knock that ball loose.
Battier is on Kobe. He is then the primary defender for the Houston Rockets on Bryant tonight. Kobe bulldozes inside, knocked away. Shot clock at 7. The clock at 9:37 here in the 4th.
Well, Shane funneling here to help with the quick hands as he comes down. It's a piece of the ball right there. Landry trying to come over and protect on that baseline.
Battier finished number 4 in Defensive Player of the Year balloting. Another Houston turnover.
What's happened now when the Lakers pick up their defense, this is where the Rockets have gotten in trouble, turning the ball over.
It's Odom to Gasol, who sneaks right in back of Yao. And Pau Gasol with 8.
Gonna have to take a timeout here. They gave up an offensive rebound. After they forced Kobe Bryant into a difficult shot, they give up a turnover. Lakers picking up their defensive pressure. This is what Rick Adelman said. This has been our MO all year long. When teams have gotten aggressive and picked up the defense against us, we have gotten impatient. We've turned it over. That's when we've gotten in trouble. Let's see if the Rockets can hold on.
For the Los Angeles Lakers, Kobe Bryant, Doug Collins, has got a game-high 23.
Well, you see, this is the only free throw that Kobe's attempted the entire game, a 3-point play opportunity missed, but he's starting to go to work. That jump shot is in rhythm. He missed practice yesterday and really just sort of walked through today. You know how tough that shot is to drive and pull up and shoot the ball over a good defender like Shane Battier. And this is what the Rockets are concerned about. This was in Houston. Ron Artest to start chirping with Kobe. Kobe went to work, scored 31 in the second half, 18 in the 4th quarter of that game. And the Rockets lost at home as the Lakers came back and beat them by 6.
Brooks is coming for Wafer. Brooks inside to Yao. Drew the double. Ricochets out of bounds. Shot clock at 11. And finishing up Kobe, 15 in the second half. Take a look at Phil Jackson, who has not been all that pleased with his offense tonight.
It looks like the Lakers are going to be into a scramble mode defensively, maybe trapping more on Yao Ming. That's what Phil does a lot of times. Wait till the fourth quarter to start trapping.
Brooks to score. Whacked by Vujicic with 7 seconds on the shot clock and 8:57 to play here in the fourth.
Playoffs on TNT, brought to you by AutoTraderClassics.com. Do you have a passion for classic cars? We'll show off yours. Search for new ones or find events by joining the AutoTraderClassics.com community. By Next Day Air, only in theaters Friday. By Taco Bell, think outside the bun.
Trent, I want to go.
New series premiere this July on TNT.
Moments ago, this is what we saw in the tunnel. He was shaking his head and telling Keith Jones, their athletic trainer, I want to go back out there. Keith Jones is saying, hey, let's go back in the locker room. Let's take a quick look at it.
He's telling him, I got to see, can you bend down? Can you squat? Can you push off? Look, Keith Jones, can you push off your leg? And you're going to see Yao Ming bend over, try to push off, and then go over to the wall, try to get that thing moved. Can you run in place? You see Keith Jones, and this is a proud guy. He knows the importance of this game. You see him working this leg. Saw very similar footage with Kevin Garnett in Utah.
We sure did, Doug.
Our tremendous camera crew was back there and captured it all when Kevin Garnett hurt his knee that night against Utah, and Yao Ming walking back out to the floor. He's on the bench right now. We'll see if he's going to be able to get back into this ball game.
Lowry has come in for Yao. Brooks rotate defensively with both Fisher and Gasol. Shot clock is down to 9. Odom picks up Ron Artest. He finds Lowry. Scola bobbled it. Houston turns it over. That is the 6th turnover for the Rockets in this fourth quarter. Craig, what do you have?
Obviously, it was a tearful Yao Ming that went back towards the locker room. They were going to take him in, put him out for the game, as you said, and as we saw, he started stretching the knee. It started to maybe feel a little bit better. He said he was getting a spasm in it, obviously a bump on the knee, and he just told Rick Adelman, I want to go back in this game.
Battier watching Kobe Bryant. Rebound by Shane Battier. That is his 3rd of the game, and Kobe Doug, 12 of 28.
Well, if you're Yao Ming, the longer you sit there, the more it's going to stiffen up on you. So, I mean, if you're going to get back in, you might as well get back in as soon as possible. And then after this game is over, get ice on it as quickly as you can.
Great point. What a rejection by Odom on the drive by Brooks. LA had that really covered well. Here comes Yao back in the game. He'll take the place of Lowry. You ever had that happen? Can you describe the pain knee on knee like that?
I've gotten a knee in the thigh. Normally it's the big guys who get the knee on the knee, but I've gotten it trying to fight over picks where that big guy sticks that knee out and cracks you, and it just like puts you to your knees.
Shot clock at 5. Scola with the mismatch guarded by the smaller Fisher. Battier knocked away. Shot clock violation on the Houston Rockets, who lead by 6, have led by 9, have trailed a couple times by 1.
Well, Luis Scola's either got to shoot that ball or swing it to the corner. He drove himself into trouble, and this is where you've got to have valuable possessions. You know, the Lakers are going to come at you. Can they keep Kobe Bryant out of the paint, and they keep him making jump shots and contest him as best as you can?
Ariza a 3. Scola concedes. Rebound by Lamar Odom, number 5. Inside over Artest. Odom is picking up steam. He's got 9. By the way, that shot clock violation moments ago on the Houston Rockets, their 2nd of the game. 3.5 to play. Artest with 19. Ariza and Gasol. Yao over Odom. Yao Ming puts it in from outside with his 22nd point.
I think this guy's a competitor. Man, oh man.
So proud. Rockets by 87-81 right now. Kobe. Ariza. And Odom, who is picked up by Artest. Scola may try to hedge on defense. Wide open 3 by Fisher. It closed by Brooks. Out of bounds it goes. It is off of the Rockets. Craig, you had a further update.
Well, according to Houston team physician Dr. Dom Clanton, all they did was bang knees. Yao and Kobe Bryant, very painful for Yao, but a lot of people holding their breath because back in the summer of '06, Yao Ming was out 6 weeks with a fractured bone in that same kneecap. A lot of people thought that may be a recurring injury, but they say he just banged his knee. Kevin?
Great reporting, Craig. Now over to Saul. Missing right there. Rockets are now 6 of 10 in this quarter. It is off of Los Angeles as Tony Brothers made the call across the way. I think Kobe may have gotten a finger to
Well,
him.
it looked like it went off Scola initially, and then it looked like maybe Kobe got a piece of it later. Can the Rockets take advantage? Got a new 24-second shot clock. This where you got to manage your possession and get a good shot. Don't force any shots.
Ariza watching our test. Ron Artest, 8 of 15, 21 points. Rockets by 8. The LA has really struggled, Doug, as you see the run by the Rockets right now. Screen by Gasol on Batty. LA only 2 of 14 shooting threes. Here's a 3 by Ariza. Guarded by the close of Scola. There is a whistle inside. It is a foul. It is on Los Angeles, and it goes on Gasol for the 4th time.
Well, what you're seeing here also, too, is Trevor Ariza, who shot the ball so well from that three-point line against Utah, 11 of 18 tonight. Getting a lot of 3 opportunities and not knocking those shots down. So the Rockets are really helping off of Kobe Bryant, really sandwiching him in the paint, forcing him to give the ball up, and nobody's able to knock down those perimeter jump shots.
4 for Yao. Rockets having a 64% shooting 4th quarter, but they have had the 7 turnovers. All right, for those just joining us late, why is Houston leading the Los Angeles Lakers?
Well, look at the pace of the game. We talked about mid-90s. And they've done a great job of when the Lakers took the lead, battling back. They're stepping up, making their free throws. And what they've done is they've made Kobe Bryant a volume shooter. He's taken 28 shots tonight to get 25 points, but there's still a lot of time left in this ball game.
Kobe, the 3 over Battier. Artest trying to get it. Gasol takes it away, and Gasol goes in. No call on the play. Gasol with his 12th point. Brooks flying by Ariza. Mismatch with Odoman. They've switched. Gasol. Step in front of Yao. Brooks got it back. Yao with the spin inside and a foul on Los Angeles. And it comes on Derek Fisher for the 2nd time with 1:40 to play in regulation.
How about the play by Aaron Brooks?
Wow.
That ball was knocked loose by Gasol. Look at him dig down in the post, get this ball, find his teammate Yao Ming. Remember I talked about Yao Ming's free throw shooting, the importance of your big man being able to go to the line and knock down free throws. Remember, he came back, he knocked down that long jump shot, got fouled on a loose ball, made 2 free throws. The Rockets can make their free throws. They've got a great chance to break through. And how about this? We could have tonight 2 road teams winning and stealing home court. That's exactly what Houston did against Portland in the 1st round. They went in and won game 1. Tonight they're on the precipice here, leading by 10 with 1:40 to go. Can they hold on?
Yao with 26, 8 of 8 from the free throw line. Houston has hit 9 consecutive free throws. This will surprise some people. The top-ranked Lakers in the West down by 10, 1:40 to play. That is our game reset. Each team with 2 timeouts remaining, 1:40 to play in regulation. The Rockets lead by 10. This is their biggest lead tonight as we revisit your Coors Light cold hard facts from a couple of hours ago.
Well, I talked about the start, how important it was for the Rockets. The game they won on the road in Portland in game 1. They got the lead at the end of the 1st. That's happened tonight. How about the 3-point shooting +9 for the Rockets? Only 2 of 16 for the Lakers. Pace of the game. Lakers now only with 83 points, averaged 107 during the season. And the 4th quarter story right now, the Lakers have been outscored by 23-16. Remember, in the 4 regular season games, the Lakers owned the 4th quarter, but with Kobe Bryant on your team, you still got a lot of time left in this game.
Look at the defenders. Kobe's got to weave through, snake through, and a foul is called. I mean, what a gauntlet. Lowry and Yao and Battier and Brooks all at one time. Artest is the 5th Rocket out there. Foul goes on Battier for the 2nd time.
Look what he's looking at, though. He's driving in. You got Shane Battier trailing you, Yao Ming, Ron Artest. He saw none of that kind of congestion against Utah. And when they go back and look at this film, they're going to have to see what the Rockets are doing. But Kobe Bryant, it's just been a night. But he's had a couple stretches where he's done a good job of getting hot. But Kevin, you know my formula. You keep a great player below 1 point for every shot, you got a chance to win. He's taking 29 shots tonight to get 26 points. Can the Rockets handle the pressure here and not turn this ball over? And make their free throws, Kevin.
Kobe just picked up the foul, Doug, right there. And again, as we began our broadcast tonight, right at the top, the headline for Phil Jackson's Los Angeles Lakers, Kobe Bryant with a bit of a fever. He's got the sore throat, flu-like symptoms. Did not practice yesterday for only the second time all season, Phil told us before the game. So we walk to the other end of the floor, and Battier will be at the stripe for the Houston Rockets.
This series is so much different here to start from the Utah series. That series was all about the Lakers getting gigantic leads and sort of coasting, and then Utah making runs, and then the Lakers holding them off. This has been, they've basically been playing from behind all night long. Shane Battier with 2 free throws to push the lead to 11.
Lakers took a 1-point lead, 77-76, 8:19 left. Rockets are on a 19-7 run. Kobe pumping into Yao, forcing the issue, getting to the free throw line once again. Yao picks up the foul for Houston. That is number 4. Well, Doug and I will be here Wednesday night at the Staples Center for Game 2, and you can see the rest of the schedule in this series. And Doug, you always talk about Game 2s and Game 7s, your 2 favorite games within a 7-game series, and talk about Game 2 and why you've come to really appreciate that particular meeting.
Well, normally the team that loses looks and see what do we have to do differently, and for the Lakers, again, there's still 1:24 to go. Kevin, remember we were here 2 years ago, and the Lakers were down about 12 with about a minute something to go, and Shane Battier had to hit a wild 3 to win that game on opening night. So, I mean, this game is not over by any stretch of the imagination, but it's going to be the Lakers. They're going to have to look at their offense and just how out of sync they were to start this game, the quick shooting.
Brooks is being chased by everybody. What a luxury to have this kind of speed from a second-year player at your point.
You can get a shot at the end of the clock, something the Rockets used to not to be able to do. It was all long threes.
Switch on defense. Gasol has to go on Brooks because of the screen by Yao. And the rebound was pulled down by Gasol. He has 13. Fisher. Switch on defense over Artest. It's a missed 3. Ariza had it and fumbles it away. It was off of Houston. Look at the three-point shooting tonight, Doug, of the Los Angeles Lakers.
2 of 17, and that's the Rockets are big at the basket, so the Lakers are having to kick the ball out, and nobody's making shots tonight. Remember, Phil Jackson said, "I'm worried about our shooting after the layoff."
Bryant works on Battier and takes it right to the cup, and Kobe Bryant with 30 points in 30 attempts. That was knocked out of bounds. 39 seconds to play.
Better stay out of those trapping areas. Now remember, now you only get 8 seconds to get it across, so 3 has been burnt off, so they got to get this over in 5 seconds. Rick Adelman might have to call a timeout and move the ball. You do not want to get a violation here. Better get that ball across.
He was held and he was fouled. Was Aaron Brooks as he takes it by the line. So in every series, Doug, we have guys that maybe don't make the headlines going into a series or into a game stand up. And Brooks has probably got to be one of those players. 35 minutes he's played, 18 points, 2 assists, and he's gone 7 of 14 from the field.
This is big right here, though. Remember the game the other night, he walked to the line and missed 2 free throws,
Yes.
3 of 4 at the end of the game against Portland when Portland almost came back and stole that game. So again, this is only a 7-point game. You're talking about a 3-possession game here. And you got to step up and you got to make your free throws under pressure.
Lakers in this game have only led for 47 seconds. They had 1-point leads that lasted 17 seconds, 16 seconds, and 14 seconds. We've got under 36 seconds here to play in regulation. 96-88, the Houston Rockets. As we take a look at our game reset with Doug Collins, Kevin Harlan, under 36 seconds to play here in regulation. Losing at home, opening of a series. What's the message you think the Lakers, if they do go on to lose, will get out of this?
A little bit of a wake-up call. I think that first series they played well offensively, very spotty defensively, and tonight they've got a little bit of a wake-up call. The seriousness of where they are in this series. This game is not over, though, Kevin. I mean, it's only a 6-point game. That's 2 3-point shots. Miss a couple free throws, you turn the ball over. You better stay out of these trapping areas.
We just about had it. Here comes Lowry. They'll take it by midcourt, and he's in a straight jacket. And a timeout was taken by Houston with 26.4 to play in a 6-point game.
See, I don't like where Houston is throwing that ball to Aaron Brooks. He's getting trapped. That pass was almost picked off. Could have been disaster there for Houston. Well, the Lakers trailed by 6, and Kevin, I was talking a little bit about where Aaron Brooks was catching that ball against the trap. And the one thing you don't want to do is catch it in that corner, because you want to be able to have an outlet. The guy throwing the ball in, you want to be able to what you call lag it backwards. You can't, because he would be out of bounds. So to make that pass against a taller player, you got to float it up and you're going forward. And Vujacic almost picked that pass off. So very, very careful. You got to be here now. Very smart play here to get the ball into Yao Ming, who's their best free throw shooter. And if the Rockets make free throws and don't turn the ball over, they're going to win this game. What you don't want to do, though, is fall asleep and let the Lakers keep scoring, with only 3 or 4 seconds taken off the clock.
Yao from the free throw line is 8 of 8. He is 31 of 33 in these playoffs. Doug, the Rockets have responded to Laker leads tonight, albeit just by a point, 3 different occasions. On 2 of them in the second quarter, they responded to a Laker lead going on an 11-4 run. And in the fourth quarter, they responded after a Laker 1-point lead going on a 21-13 run, which they're in the midst of right now.
It's good to see Yao Ming moving around again as well, too. I mean, he took a shot. His leg is going to be sore tomorrow.
Kobe held by Battier and slams it down. Kobe with 32.
Again, that's too easy.
Lowry trapped, held. Vujacic thought he had all ball. There's a foul, and it goes on Sasha Vujacic, who picks up number 4. 16.3 to play.
Kyle Lowry, a 65% free throw shooter in the playoffs going into tonight's game. So again, you got to make your free throws. I'd like to see him put a little more resistance, though, and not just let the Lakers drive the ball down the floor and dunk the basketball. You put so much pressure on yourself to keep making all these free throws. I know the time's starting to slip away from the Lakers.
In that Utah series, Doug, Lakers were giving up some sizable leads in that series. Was that a warning? I mean, you've kind of touched it. Was that a warning for you?
I don't know a warning as much as, it was almost like it was too easy. We can score whenever we want to, and tonight that's not been the case. And they're going to get their message from the coach. Phil Jackson has been through a lot of these kind of battles. And sometimes, you got to lose the home court to get that edge back.
Vujacic a 3, Lowry defended. And the rebound by Brooks. Hand to Lowry. That'll do it. That'll seal a Houston Rocket win. The road team has won again on the opposing floor for the second time tonight.